Recording process.
That's the
Oh, okay.
main court. The Dorje Chan is over here.
Yeah. Thank you.
So would you lead the prayers or should we have Peter?
Sorry.
Would you want to lead the prayers or should we have Peter?
I can do it. Yeah. I a big boss. Like a big boss. Until I go home. Wow, that's nice. Now I can say Zoomers. Good morning, Zoomers. Good morning, everyone. Yeah. This morning, we at Susie's place, a friend, we were talking. And it's so foggy today. I mean, morning was a little foggy and not so sunny. And but I just said, well, we stay alive. You know, that's the best news. I remember running around KTD gate, and one of our staff, I just said, "Well, I have a good news. Some of you heard of this. Can be could be a little bit boring, but it's the reality." And then she said, "What is it? His one's come up or coming? What's going on?" I said, "We're still alive." She said, "Oh." And then she turned back, said, "Actually, that's true." Well, it is true. That's a kind of concept we should think about, before worrying about other things, We are still breathing, still alive. I remember 2010, I went to India to join this 3 months Akshobhya retreat with His Holiness. So His Holiness mentioned that, he said, we should, when you wake up in the morning, the first thing is, it's so incredible that I'm still breathing, I'm still alive and I'm still breathing. And which leads to, then you will never, if you have that concept, then you will not miss your daily practice. I'm a very relentless person to pursue. Other people say, "Oh, look, yeah, if you have that concept, then next to His Holiness said, oh, just simply alive is not sufficient, We have to do something good in this world. There's more than 7 billion people, and we are one of them. So we should do something good. And as a practitioner, everybody has daily practice. And so first priority, of course, a lot of other things to handle, but also sooner or later today, I will do my, daily practice. So before I go into the teaching, and once again, please generate bodhicitta, thinking that we are doing this, and I'm just so lucky to even mention about White Tara. And teaching is for the benefit of all sentient beings to achieve enlightenment. So please give rise to bodhicitta or compassion for all beings. then the ultimate bodhicitta is just rest where it is. Try not to correct your mind, try not to fix your mind, just rest in this very nature, this very place, this very presence, this very seat, directly. Because all the feelings that we have is either in the past or future, not happening in this very moment. In order to arise authentic compassion, bodhicitta, it is essential to receive blessing of the root guru and lineage masters. So we will be chanting the short Vajra prayer, Doji Chantom. Ayan Doji Janji Dilo Naro Dama Mela Jeje Gambomba Tezan Jenza Ganjen Gramamba Jeje Janjen Jobata Nanda Jeda Zazam Badendra Baza Salam Jajan Jela Nyamen Dronga Namo Gajela Sawan Dezon Ganjela Mana Jilvan Zainat Nanda Jela Yama Ganje Kambra Zomba Zenayagala Jaye Mebanda Zendre Dada Jembe Ganje Yegra Yemba Menda Jela Maganje Ngo Sambaye Nengo Jebe Lama Jende so Andebe Ganjela Anjame Amaganje Jela Yeme Ganje Ngaje Samba Kanjaranda Bengamande Majende Granjobe Ganje Ganda Loenda Jela Nando Zomba Jaya Maya Jaya Jala Mangara Vajra Konde Yeme Dama Jala Jewaganda Yanda Lama Rame Janje Mala Janje Sadalanje Yande Radone Doje Jange Govonya Dojo Doje Jange Govonya Dojo. Seven branch, short seven branch prayer and mandala. Chanjawa don jeje java don jese yeran gajen zoa gewa jamze dage chizaba tanje dage chonje chengo sajen buch chojen medo ran rira lenje nide jimbande Sanje jende mede bawa Doge nanda jela jebara jo Senje nanje samba dan loye jeda jeda Jejon demo ande baye jujo golo gode Yizu jungo namba drawa nanga daye meje jen Jijan jawe jeme longan jambe yanzo bana Pade dewa jaji jiji la jagolo denje yon Jemba gune mumba jedro shaje zo de lando Shijagal Jara jungo jen zeba vedan de jen lambo Jawa jemba gane sanjemba Kaje rambo jala sanje yente sanje gandon nyana Kaje sanje gale labenga banga tawa lama rambo je dazon roe la nanje la je sanje sanjon jo jenje Bimanga bo ne be dawa zabje din din Toje jurun jinze ma chujin ma la chanza lo Ejong we la gana na Kamo bhajan 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 Lama boje la so de danje lo ye do jen jen Gome je la je wa jen la Jumi nando ga bara jen Rosa je me do bara jen jen la Jvara za je wa jen jen Nozi jaga dobra jen la Nozi jaga dobra jen la Ona nanga do nyambu sinjin tongche namche la nami Yon dobra zubo zonje jaga warumbo jila jine jonge baza Tewe chido tambe chunda nye chejen Sente do nye zaji baza o nyamba zomba zonje chido Tochi barumbo je salta de sembrash Tela Konsemba Zavinjuna. So does this also have a Vaitara sadhana? This one? Wow, okay. Ken is a Kunchu Mela Mahakala. Oh, okay.
Maybe we just put them in. Maybe I'll link Sherry's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. I'm such messy, so many stuff I put on my table. I always carry this text with me because this is a personal text by my uncle Lama, who passed away more than a year ago. And yeah, so recent years, in a way, a lot of losses because my uncle and Kembukanta Rinpoche passed away like now 5 years ago, and then my other guru, or most of you also received teachings directly or indirectly, When I say indirectly, so you are receiving teachings from Chögyam Rinpoche's disciples, lamas, kembos, also senior students. Even though you never get to see him, some of you are new members, and receive his blessing. And so he's one of my very important guru who passed away. The June Sagadawa, the upcoming, will be second year anniversary. And then Lama Sonam, who is in lifelong retreat at Namu Buddha, decided to go. He was, very close to Chögyam Rinpoche, and so I went to. When I heard that Chögyam Rinpoche, was sick, and I went to Nepal, and my uncle Lama Sonam was there, and he was basically saying, "Oh, okay, I will not live more than 93 years." And I kind of told him, "Oh, no, you are." He was. I mean, he's like at that time 92, and he's very skinny. I mean, and also the Namu Buddha areas, everything is like stone steps, right? So he was like walking, up and down like a like a monkey, I just told him, "You look like a monkey, you are not." Most monkey are very skinny, and you're really moving very good. And also his hearing ability, even the 93. If I say something out of his, there's when you enter in his room, there's he stays very, very back of the room, and he hears. If I say something, he hears so precisely. I was so surprised. And so I told him, no, you're going to live long time because, you are in good health. He said, "No, I have some indications that I will stay like 93 and then I will go happily." Because whenever I see him, he just have this very, very special expression on his face, and and he said, a little bit of weeping, like devotion. He said, I can't believe that, I'm so happy. I feel like I'm the happiest in the world. I can't believe. And I feel a little jealous, Like, okay, stop it, okay, you are happy, you know, I wish I could be like you, but I'm not. But okay, that's good. I rejoice, just because I think Lama Sonam, he been through a lot in his life, and somewhat, his brother, Kembokanta Rinpoche, and then they have another two brothers. One is done 3 retreat, 3 times, become Vajra master of Tangu monastery, where I come from, where Tangu Rinpoche come from, Kembokanta Rinpoche come from. And then another brother was Abbot Kembo, who was giving teaching. So somewhat Lama Sonam was not so learned, but he was very physically very strong. So at that time, they have a lot of duties at the monastery. And he did all of those for other 3 brothers because they are very busy with all of this. And so he made an aspiration, he told me, that he wants, may I able to go to a place that is doesn't change, there's no season change. And so there's no work. So he got to Nepal, there's no season change, there's no work. So he said, aspiration accomplished. But while he was doing that, and he kind of promised from one of his root guru was Siru Rinpoche. Tang monastery have 4 different Rinpoches. And he promised that he's going to reset 100 million Amman Pime home. And because he was very busy, didn't get to count, so he always reset Amman Pime wherever he goes. And sometimes people give him a nickname. What would that be? Like horse mouth. The horse was that. You can't hear the sound, but the lips always moving, right? I mean, that's what they told him. They must, analyzed. They don't give nicknames randomly, I believe. So he was always quiet wherever he goes. So then once he get to Namo Buddha, established all these monasteries, Tangu monastery, I think it's sometimes important for those of you who never been to those monasteries, see how the great master Judge Tangu Rinpoche established within his 91 years life. I mean, he when he escaped, he was already in, I think, I'm not good about measurement in 20s, because Khyentse Rinpoche was 30s. They are about 10 years apart. And the Indian and Nepal built so many monasteries, nunneries, and it's amazing. So Lama Sona was one of those person who really helped and served. And then past 26 years, something like that, he kind of decided to finish his commitment from his teacher about reciting mantra, Aman Pime, Aman Pime, Aman Pime. So he never got bored. Sometimes people say, oh, I'm just doing Hundu practice, I'm looking forward to next step because this is very boring. Prostration is very, sometimes a little bit boring. The same thing happening. And then after that, Vajsattva, I'm looking forward to next. And then, but Lama Sona's case, he was just so happy. He was saying, I can't believe how happy I am. just recite Om, but he received so many other teachings. So, like Tengo Chinse Rinpoche was one of his teachers, and because today most of you are Buddhists, and when I talk this, you kind of know what I'm talking about. And then when Chögyam Rinpoche passed away, I went for cremation, and it was very amazing. Even like he was in the hospital, I kind of, my hotel was in Kathmandu, but I didn't like, it's kind of more like a luxury hotel, a little bit, I wanted to move next to Chögyam, which is a hospital place. And then I moved there, and this hotel was really bad. Not so good. Smell and mosquito, everything. But the good part is that you can see, the hospital and where Rinpoche was. There's a very, very strong blessing presence. So I just, sleep there, open the window, and I take that back. I don't think I opened the window because there were so many mosquitoes. Who are going to invite mosquitoes? Like, oh, please, But I, did a lot of the prayers that we chanted during, some of you received the online transmission. Lama Sanje Rinpoche La Soande Mananga Nyambe Zinjin Danje Lama Tejin Lonje Zobenga Zoande Mananga Nyambe Zinjin Danje Lama Lonje Zobenga Zoande Mananga Nyambe Zinjin Danje Lama Tejin so on. So you just chant those, and makes your mind with his wisdom, and then also Muhammad aspirations. It was very very, very special. And some of lamas, were very nice. You want to go to really come and see. I said, I don't have to really see. I just feel his presence. I don't have to physically look. Rinpoche was in hospital, and so after Rinpoche passed away, we went for cremation, and because I'm a family person and I have duties, I have to come back. I missed when after cremation, they had this, after you cremate, there were a lot of rainbows, all this, I was there. But after cremation, you kind of cover the relic, stupa where he cremated. Then I have to go back to Kathmandu, and Nepal, you don't get to come all the time, so you have to go a lot of shopping, So I have to do those. And then before I left, one of Tangu monastery from Tibet, Vajra master, Lopala, came, and he got some of Rinpoche's, relics. Relics, in a sense, we always looking for relics, something like pills, white pills, this is a relic. But when teacher, guru passes, and whatever, like bones and his clothes and his hairs, everything become relic. It's different, because relic has 5 different aspects. And so he got this, and then he said, I can show you some acts for those with you. And I got upset with myself, like I came all the way here and I didn't get to go there. I said, no, I just continued prayer. So I continued prayer, and then I came back home with my Vajra brother Lama Zopa, a Western Lama. He did 3 retreats 2 times with me. I understand, topics white Tara, I get there, okay? But I love stories. What can you do? And so once I got back, you can imagine you have a heavy jet lag. You wake up very early in the morning. So I was unpacking, and my Rinpoche's, wonderful attendant, Lama Lozun Doji, he gave me some of Rinpoche's hairs and some, when we call dure, it's a fabric that is wrapped around Rinpoche's body while he was meditation, and also salts. And so I was unpacking it, and then all of a sudden I can see a few things drop on the floor. And I looked at it, it's relics. 3 of them. First I thought it's a sesame seed. So I just, it's not. Then I looked in, and there were about 20-something pills, relics. Then I cried because I felt that, Rinpoche saw that I was frustrated, that I didn't get his ashes, and, his compassion captured me. True story. So I shared some people, they said, no, that's impossible, who you are, who are you? But it was my special blessing from Rinpoche. And so Chögyam Rinpoche is, of course, these masters, very, very special, and they don't talk about, oh, my deity is this, but always discover that, his main practice is white Tara. And even though Rinpoche, like nowadays, like 91 is maybe, sometimes people, they should live up to 100 or something. In the history, none of the masters lived that. Like first Kamapa to some chamber, Jetsim Milarepa, they lived up to 80 something years. But Rinpoche, I think, had a very long life, completed all of his activities and completed his life. And interesting part is that my teacher, Khenpo Rinpoche, always emphasized, it's actually very amazing that Chögyam Rinpoche, he never lost a single teeth, 91 years. So I'm kind of a little bit mixing with my uncles, all the stories. So Uncle Lama Sonam lived up to 93, and then when I went there, and so my brother was there, at the cremation, and then some of our lamas, they said, well, you are nephews, and you should know about his belongings. And my brother and I said, no, we don't care anything about any other possessions, but we do care if you have any, could share some of his clothes or hairs or some of this. And then one of the Lama said, how about his daily practice text? I said, I want that. Yeah, because it's kind of a coincidence, because previously when I traveled, like when Chögyam Rinpoche was, sick and cremation time, I didn't have a text to carry with me. So Lama Sonam said, I think it's nice to have a daily practice text, I said, I pretty much memorized it. He said, still it has a lot of blessing. So I feel like, he left this behind. So when I go through this text, and I find that he also practiced white Tara. And so white Tara practice is very, very important. And I do know that, it's not, we are emphasizing on long life because we do practice, you have a long life. But a lot of these great masters who practice White Tara, not only long life, but they are able to achieve siddhi, within one lifetime. I do know there's a wonderful commentary by Kim Rinpoche. It's very detailed, but I decided to use my Tibetan text because, if I read the English and then I will have 100 questions to you. How do you spell this? Not spell. How do you pronounce this? And after, you will lose patience. Like, what was you supposed to know all of this? And so last night, I woke up at 3:30 and couldn't sleep. For a while, I was so awakened. And then I kind of remember that as a child, my father taught us the White Tara prayers. And I recited that, and then I fall asleep and I have good sleep. The reason why I bring this, because I could be waste my time like, oh, I can't sleep, I'm so frustrated. So sleep state known as in Tibetan yinju means you can transform. So like my uncle Kimbakanta Rinpoche's father, so when he goes to sleep, he does this Jambal Tsenji. It's the king of the Tantra, prays to Menzishiru's name, and he recites that, and then he falls asleep. And when he middle of night or something, wake up, and he can continue the practice. So, in other words, you are investing your money in a bank that, while you sleep in it, you earn interest, right? Who doesn't want that, right? I mean, it's the same thing, like, before you sleep, there are many practices, the recitation of mantras, visualizations. Seriously, when you sleep, I sometimes wake up a little bit like fear or something without knowing. But sometimes I recite the Tara mantras. If you change your mind into Tara or visualizing your guru or something, and when you wake up at the end, in the morning, your mental state is totally different. You feel like maybe I wouldn't use fearless, but you have instead of like loneliness, you feel very something like installed. So with White Tara, I will talk a little bit about the history, and of course it comes in a chanting as well. And first, the how White Tara practice kind of affected or prolong individual's life, and so during the time of Lord Gambopa, as you know, who brought both Kadampa lineage and Mahamudra lineage, united in our lineage, and that's why we kind of discover a lot of mind training practice in our lineage and Mahamudra practice lineage. And yet, when Lord Gambopa met his one of his Kadampa teacher, and his name was Geshe Depa. Geshe Depa was one of Kadampa lineage master. And so Gampopa had this vision of Dakinis who prophesied or predicted that he may not live more than 3 years, when he had that vision. And then he mentioned that to Geshe Depa, one of his Kadamba master. And Geshe Depa has a very interesting way of saying that even you are buried, we can dig up and you're still alive if you practice Vajra. Right? It's like you go to cemetery, dig it up, and so which Gampopa practiced. Okay, I have to give me another time. And then Gampopa life was, prolonged or extended his life. And with my own teacher, Kimbukanda Rinpoche, and when he came to US, he was very, very sick. He had a tuberculosis. And so Judge Kalu Rinpoche, the previous Judge Kalu Rinpoche, told Rinpoche that you have some obstacles in your life and you must do a White Tara retreat, which Rinpoche did. 1 month long White Tara retreat at KTD. And so at that time, Rinpoche was in 50-something years, because some of you read in Rinpoche's biography that he had some indications. Tibetan talk about La. La is like not really you, but there's a spirit comes with you when you're born. And Rinpoche told that his lies are like a lamb, sheep, the baby lamb. And he had this dreams about this lamb. Is very, very, look like very sick or very weak. And so after he did White Tara practice like 1 month, and then Rinpoche completely healed from his illness, and he was very, very skinny and sick, but everything changed. And Rinpoche used to say, even his skin changed. And then he also had dream about the same lamb. How do you say lamb? Lamb. And the lamb's fur was so beautiful, like radiating. And he always said that he was saved by both 16 Kamapa, who sent him to US, and he was very sick in India, and also Chaji Kalu Rinpoche, he did the White Tara practice. And it's kind of a very auspicious, because I saw on Facebook that his Eminence Sudur Rinpoche is going into 1 month long White Tara retreat today. They just closed. So we should be doing this 1 month long practice, so we can start today. And so Khenpo Rinpoche, he does there are 2 versions of White Tara practice, and one is composed by Itz Rinpoche, which is very common that we all you all practice, and at KTD we all start in practice that. But Rinpoche is his own kind of personal practices, the one composed by Janga Kontrul, and they are pretty much, identical. And one is a little bit of versified text. The other is the straight, the one you have now. It is the one you have is composed by the eight Tai Sudurumbuchi, Sudapema Nyinji. And so I would just go through the text a little bit about the lineage and also visualization as much as I explain, and try to explain as much as I could. And so it starts on page 2, and it says the lineage application for the daily practice of White Tara. There are many versions of White Tara text. They are like long versions. This is we call daily practice, which is simplified practice. And it starts with Namo Guru Aya Tara Ye. So that's pretty easy. We pay homage to Tara. Namo Guru, pay homage, and Aya is what's the English word would be Arya? Noble. Noble, oh, that's right, noble. Papa, in Tibetan, Papa. Tara is Tara, and the Ye means two. And so it starts with Dholma, Tara itself, and then Ngagye Wanchu is one of Indian master. And then Selimpa is the teacher of Atisha Selimpa, and then Atisha himself. Atisha himself was a very accomplished Tara practitioner. As you know, that Atisha, we always very thankful Atisha's influence and brought the teaching in Tibet. And because he came to Tibet in end of 10th century, and we do call him 11th century, but Kadamba started in the end of 10th century. And so at that time there were a lot of conditions happening in Tibet because of the 42nd king. 42nd king, 40 president, 42nd king Lang Dharma, who destroyed all the Tibetan, the sculptures and the statues. There was a big, destruction, and then Lama Yishi was the descendant of the king, and he felt really bad because the Lang Tama was the last king of the Tibetan succession of the kings. And so Lama Yishi wanted to purify or refresh Tibetan Buddhism that, purely flourished in the 8th century by Guru Rinpoche and, the Abbot Bodhisattva and King Trisong Detsin. And so he sent 21 young and energetic and smart students to India. And because of the condition, only one Natso Lotsawa, is one translator, only survived. All of others passed away. So Natso Lotsawa analyzed all these great masters who can be benefiting, who is the special master, and he recommended Atisha. Atisha is very scholarly and also very highly achieved in realization. And of course, Atisha also relying on the great master Naropa, so 11th century. And then the king, because those days, in order to go to India, and you have to have a lot of gold. They always offer gold in exchange, and whenever they request a teaching, they offer this, gold. And it sounds a little bit funny because, why is that? It's simply because the teaching was very, very rare, and without putting effort, without going through some hardship, and unlike nowadays, like you can just open up your computer and dial in, and make a nice coffee and some snacks, and then you can stretch, walking around while teaching. Nothing like that, because Dharma is so precious, and as it mentioned in sutras that Buddha said, I went through the pits of fire and weapons in order to receive teachings with one verse, because in order to benefit sentient beings. And Malarepa mentioned the same thing. He said that when you practice with hardship, and you will achieve something very rare or very precious. So we don't expect, whenever you practice, everything is so smooth, everything, there's no any difficulties. And so then, in order to, I tell a little bit of history, because I think it's important. In order to invite Atisha, so they have to go there and search golds. So king himself went to collect golds, and then there was this Kalo in Tibetan, like west part of the China. There are some non-Buddhists who were discovered that they're trying to invite the Atisha or some Panditas and flourish Dhamma. Again, they are a little bit against anti-Buddhism. And they captured him and put him in jail. And but one of his nephew is Chanchu, the Lama Yeshiva's nephew, and working very hard to take him out. Actually, the Kalo, or they asked the Lama Yeshiva, the king, if you give up Dharma or 3 jewels, then I will let you go. I will let you, come out of jail. And then the Lama Yeshiva said, no, I will never give up Buddha Dhamma Sangha. And I fully devoted, and I will never give up. And then the second option is that if you can find a gold about your physical size, then we will let you go. I mean, that would be how many, because Tibetans, may not be that heavy, because at that time Tibetans were very skinny. Thank you. And then his nephew, few months, working so hard, and got a size of his head, the gold. And then he told his uncle, oh, don't worry, I will take you out of jail, and how much I got the gold. And then the Lama said, don't worry about it. Use this gold to invite Atisha. You go to India,
Please take it over and put it so the wire is in front of you. So lift the mic all over your head. And then, yes, up and over. Yes, like that. And now put it on so the wire is in the front.
like this?
Yes.
Oh, like this? No?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yes. No, just from the front.
Enough, right? You say enough, this.
You got it. That's it. Perfect.
Perfect? perfection. So where are we? The gold. And then he said that, please relay the message from me that, the Tibetan, the Central Tibetan king, Lama Yeshiva, sacrificed his life. He said, I'm going to die in this jail for the Buddha Dhamma, and invite Atisha, because he was going through a lot of daily punishments, and so he was very, very weak. So he said, it's okay if I die, but so many Tibetan people suffering, so many people, and the Dhamma is very polluted, you must invite Atisha. So then he used that gold, listened to his uncle, and got this message to Atisha. And then Atisha was very, very uplifted or very, very inspired, saying that, wow, Tibetan king is such bodhisattva mind. He didn't care about his life. So then he actually asked Tara, Atisha, had a vision of Tara. Then Tara said that, well, you can go, you will benefit many people, and also you will be able to re-establish Buddha Dhamma, but you will short your life. Now I forgot exact 22 or 24 years. You will live shorter because of the condition. And then Atisha, is very special master who said, oh, I don't really care about my life as long as I benefit. So the reason why I'm telling this story is one of this is Atisha's connection with Tara, because Atisha is mentioned here. Second is, we also, when you learn history, we're so thankful to that Tibetan king who didn't care about his life to save Buddha Dhamma and invite Atisha. So when Atisha was invited, and Atisha didn't teach much other than refuge, Buddha Dhamma Sangha, and cause and condition, karmic cause and conditions. And many people, a little bit complained because he's such a scholarly, but why you don't teach something very profound? Everybody saying that you only teach, Buddha Dhamma Sangha 3 jewels, and they give you a nickname as refuge master. And Atisha joined his hands together, said, that much I served for Buddha Dhamma because I got that nickname. So sometimes people tell me, you are a Ngundro teacher. I'm very happy about that. Because Ngundro is so important to do it daily. That's how you finish Ngundro practice. People say, how do I finish my Ngundro practice? How do I do my daily practice? I say, well, unless you are dead, do your practice. It's true. And then some people say, oh, if I don't finish it, well, so that's good. You die, middle of Ngundro practice. So what's wrong with that? And then continues, it says, Ndamtempa. So Ndamtempa was a lay practitioner, yogi, and disciple of Atisha, and then Chinghawa. And Ndamtempa had few disciples, 3 brothers, one of them Chengha, and then Depa, as the one we just talked about, Geshe. And then merged to Lord Gambopa, and then Lord Gambopa to first come up with Samchemba, and then Rechin. Rechin is incarnation of Sidrumbuche, Rechinpa. Then Pandrapa is another master. He didn't really have a succession of, but at that time he was very realized. And then Tuchin Chuchi Lama, is Kamapashi, then his disciple Ujimpa, and then Ranjun Doje. Ujimpa was very, very accomplished master when he saw Kamapashi, and one time he was traveling through Tsuba Monastery and he heard of Kamapashi. He's like, oh, maybe even though I'm very achieved, I'm very learned, it doesn't hurt to see Kamapa. And then he went to see Kamapa, and Kamapa put we call katora, this one cantina on his head, and then he immediately introduced nature of mind. And then Kamapa become, only even though he saw only one day, he become his root guru. People talk about root guru. Who's my root guru, And root guru is like that. So someone introduced nature of mind, and it could be a spiritual master, or it could be, someone else, really push your buttons and emotionally very, very high, and maybe you may introduce your nature of mind. You never know how root guru kind of, transform. And then Rodo is fourth Kamapa, Kacheomba first Shamarumbuche, Tejin Shepa, fifth Kamapa. Riprad is one of the fifth Kamapa's disciple. Tuendin is fourth Kamapa's disciple, and then Tuendin, fifth, and then Tuendin is fifth Kamapa, and then Penger is the one who composed lineage prayer. And then Koshi Je is the first Jatsurumbuche, Koshi Panju Tendu, Chuda Janso seventh. So the succession of we call golden lineage, Sanje Nyemba, Muche Doje, Shama Kuncho, Anchu Doje ninth Kamapa, Chucho Wanchu, and Namdatsin, another master. Then Kamachami Tumo is Tumo Chuje. He currently is the 18th incarnation. Palchimbo Pachin Chuchitendu Jatsopa. Thais the Tembe Nyinzi, one who composed this lineage, the sadhana. So I supplicate to all of you. Continue. Dundu Doje Kamapa, 13th Kamapa, Pema Nyinji Wambo, 9th Sudurumbuche, Tenchu Doje, 14th Kamapa, Pema Kauntsal is the first younger Kontru. Pema Kauntsal is another name of younger Kontru, the first Kamapa, and first younger Kontru. And then page 5, Kacho Doje, 5th Kamapa, Pema Onchu Diabo, 11th, Sudurumbuche, Chinse Weze, the second Padin Chinse, who was also teacher of Jaji Tangrumbuche, both Jaji Tangrumbuche and Kembokanta Rinpoche. And he came to Tang Monastery and give all the empowerments. Then the 16th Kamapa Ripidoje. So all root and lineage lamas who have deeply realized the noble lady and those holding the 6 traditions of her transformation, there are many lineages of Tara, and that mature and deliberate, I supplicate all of you. Grant you blessing that I perfect the stages of creation, mantra, and completion until the spring Vajra body. So what does creation stage and completion stage? It's something to do with, as a Vajrayana practitioner, since we were born up till the death. So those who have practiced, visualization of creation stage and completion stage, and every transition in our life becomes part of the visualization. When we were born, especially, those who are very mastered with practice, and when they enter into mother's womb, and they visualize themselves into deities, and go through this different stage of dissolution, and then your conscience enter. So consciousness also visualized as seed syllable as a practitioner. And then, the seed syllable slowly arise as a deity. So when you are born and slowly you become adults and married, all of this, you continue maintaining as, oneself as deity. And then at the end, when you die, then that's where the dissolution or compilation stage. So as Nyanga Kont mentioned, in the Jizu Nedu is the special teaching about creation stage and the compilation stage. And so that's very important because when we talk about secret yana or Vajrayana, it's all about pure perception, and pure outlook. And Vajrayana practitioners, sometimes we talk about what is the samaya, and there are many samayas, but one of them is very important. Samaya is you whatever you see as the manifestation of deity or the pure land. I remember one time Rinpoche and I walking in a Kamalang, the 3 retreat center. We have this columbarium where we have the ashes, practitioners who pass. And then when he built that building, and the Rinpoche named Dedinshen in Tibetan, which means Amitabha, pure land. And for me, someone is very confused. I said, is that too much? Pure land? Then Rinpoche said this. He said, well, if you have pure perception, then this is real Amitabha's pure land. And he got me. Because I think those practitioners, especially like Rinpoche's, in his mind, everything is pure. So that is, sometimes like Vajrayana practice, we talk about if you have anger, it's the manifestation of akshobhya, and then jealous, all of this pureness, wisdom, and so that is a pure perception of Vajrayana practice. So compilation stage means, of course, they will be detailed, and every visualization has connect with wisdom. And then on page 6 says, and attain the supreme Vajra body of immortal wisdom, and grant your blessing that I become inseparable from the mother source of the victorious ones of which fulfilling will. That's another name of Vajra. So when he says, attain the supreme Vajra body of immortal wisdom, basically doesn't always mean like when you live long, but mentally may we able to achieve Vaitara's siddha, which is a realization of Vaitara, attainment. In such a way, may the true benefits be spontaneously fulfilled. But the true benefits means that one's own benefit relies on your own Dhammakaya. If you realize your Dhammakaya naturally manifest the Sambhogakaya and the Namanikaya. As it mentioned in the lineage prayer, bless you, by Dhammakaya. And in lineage prayer, it says, Nantungo Chukusumbaji. And it is taught that the nature of mind is Dhammakaya. So Dhammakaya basically eats with us, lives with us, walks with us, 24 hours, 24 hours, our Dhammakaya. And I understand that sometimes like, oh, that's very profound, but how profound it could be, it's just you. Even though we talk about the compilation stage, the generation stage, Mahamudra, Mahat, all of these great names and the profundity, at the end, it's all about so much connected and essentially inherently connected with your own primordial wisdom. So at the end, it comes down to your own primordial wisdom. So that's very, very important because there's, when you practice deities, there's one called Vajra pride. Vajra pride, sounds like pride, oh, I'm special. No, it's basically saying that, inherently, I possess, or inherently, I'm the embodiment of a Dhammakaya, which is beyond emotions, beyond obscurations. So Vajrayana, why they say Vajrayana practice is some people say shortcut, right? You don't have to do all the things, but it takes a pure perception. It's not like okay, simply you practice Vajrayana and you have a shortcut. No, it really means that through your practice, experience a pure perception of your Dhammakaya, and it is not something recommended to find and just externally, but it's something discover internally with your troubled mind. Everybody feel like, oh, I have a very troubling mind. It's so hard. Well, that is where these beautiful flowers that we see, out there, they are growing in this very muddy place or very, very, you require a lot of maneuvers, all the dirty things. They don't grow in So Dhammakaya is within that troubling mind. And so that's why it says, until the spring Vajra body, there's no such thing that, you practice White Tara and then you have a Vajra body, like a physical flesh and blood body becomes like a indestructible. Impossible, because this is impermanent. You may live like 180 years, I don't want to live 180 years. That's too much, I mean, like 180 years. Well, earlier one of the friends said her mother is 99 years old, right? And still she can, and that's very good. But some 180 is really a lot. And who's gonna deal with that, Yeah. So. But purpose here is that I think it comes later about the visualization. Am I doing okay with the microphone constantly distracting? Yeah, no. Another perfect? Oh. So we are perfect inherently we are perfect, So you don't always look for practice something, oh, okay, after I really go to a very, very special place. And as Chamiramuchi mentioned, that even you go to a retreat center, if you don't really know the point, or you don't practice, diligently, well, I love this diligence, diligent. It's something you can kind of identify because practice diligently means that you are so delightful when you do your daily practice. You are so looking forward to, you're so delightful because you could see the benefit of the practice through visualization and able to utilize your inner, source through practice. So you always look for, it's exciting and very happy. So that's what diligence means. It doesn't mean that, you are burdened by practice. It's like, something like, oh, it's required because I'm a Buddhist. You have to have sincere conviction, and that only could arise if you maintain daily practice. And so in a such way, it says, may the two benefits be spontaneously fulfilled. I really like the presentation or the text by Jangga Kontre. I say there's a song by Jangga Kontre. Kembrum choice. Oh, once again, I think I'm mixing. Why this? Just don't behave my hands. Sat. Satsam kosam talong. So Rinpoche uses that a lot, which basically means, three kayas. Of course, like, there's Dhammakaya, Sambhogakaya, Namanikaya. So once you achieve Dhammakaya, and then you spontaneously manifest through your compassion, the Sambhogakaya and Namanikaya, but also like with your troubled mind. So the moment your thought arise, and it carries those three kayas all the time, whether you are stressed or emotion. So thought arise, and the clarity of your thought, the excitement of the thought is the Sambhogakaya. And then the emptiness of this, because thoughts are not solid, it's emptiness, that is Dhammakaya. And then constantly changing your thoughts, moment by moment, instant by instant, that is Namanikaya. So you are basically not recognizing it, but constantly, struggling with these thoughts. However, it carries all those three kayas 24 hours. And, sometimes, you have to kind of refresh yourself, remind yourself, oh, okay, thought arise, sat samna kasam lanam. The moment thought arise, three kayas like shadow, And then the previous scholar, which composed a Mahamudra text, talk about so those individuals who understand the essence, the essential point of practice of Dharma, and then they can be doing all other things, those shepherds who, shepherding the herds, those people making like, in Tibet with like wooling, wool, yarding, spinning, and they're doing this, and then while they can watch their mind, and then nomads, they're cleaning the they're cleaning and yak's dongs, collecting, and while they can achieve enlightenment, and those of us who have family people, while you're changing your diapers, you can also utilize. So another word that, don't look down on yourself. Okay, I feel so distracted and it's so hard. So we always have a way to reject the quality of our mind. So we expect there will be one day something exciting enlightenment could arise. That'd be so exciting, and that's not going to happen because enlightenment is moment by moment. And then once you convince with your own thoughts, your thoughts no longer become your enemy or such. And then it's very easy to visualize because thoughts carries three kayas naturally. And once you visualize, and then, instantly you can visualize and invite deities and dissolve. It's very easy. Otherwise, you have to totally get over all thoughts, and then you're waiting for arise a pure perception, and then that could be deity. That could be a long wait. And then after the lineage supplication, then refuge in bodhicitta to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. I go for refuge until full awakening. Through the merit of practicing generosity and the other perfections, may I attain full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. So truly important, because I always express to people that I'm a very emotional person, and when I practice or teaching, that's why you can see I pause before I started, because I don't want to waste my time. And so at the beginning, whether I practice, even if I have like half an hour practice, I make sure generating bodhicitta. Maybe 1 minute or meditate, why I'm practicing, I'm not practicing simply because I'm the one only achieving enlightenment, but for the benefit of all sentient beings. The more you make aspiration and the more you generate bodhicitta, in the future you can benefit so many sentient beings. So whether you can benefit beings in the future is up to your bodhicitta and how you generate compassion. Otherwise, we are like, oh, this, I have to do my Hundu practice. Let's, start quickly and then mumbling through your text and do few prostration or recitation and, then write down the list of things you have to do. Sometimes it could happen because, and then dedicate merit, and then, sometimes you forget to dedicate merit. And then life goes on. It's not a, paying tax. It's not like rules, regulations. It's just something to discover your own, purify negative karma and benefit sentient beings. And then there's for immeasurables, may all beings have happiness in its cause, may all beings be free of suffering in its cause, may they never be separated from the genuine happiness and beyond suffering. And may they remain in great equanimity beyond attachment and aversion to those near and far. So during this visit, I talk about some of our friends that even though you may not be able to do all the rituals, and because it involves rituals, making tormas and shrine setup, all of this, but at least that, you once I finish this trip and you receive reading transmission, a little bit of instruction, and then empowerment, so you are qualified to practice as a group or individual practice. And then, individually you can chant through and recite mantras and, play a little bit of bell or something. So that could happen. And then, of course, once you are ready, you can go into details about all the detailed mudras and everything. And Lama Lodu, our KTD president, he's very good with ritual and he has all the road maps and diagram, everything. And so it'll be very nice if he comes again to visit. And then on page 10, it says Om Shunya Tanjana Beza Soba Ema Ko Home. So this mantra is basically refreshing a statement saying that, Shunyata is emptiness, yet emptiness has not like nothingness. It has flavor, it has the essence, which is jhana. Jhana is wisdom. So when you meditate, like I mentioned earlier, like utilize thoughts, meditate with thoughts is the best because that's the one we seem like always struggle. And when you meditate, so if you meditate in emptiness, and then sometimes empty, if you only just meditate in emptiness and it becomes very, very empty, or it's very, loneliness, like emptiness is like, oh, there's nothing there. But then it says jhana, means it has the flavor of wisdom. The wisdom is even beyond conception, yet, there's a sense of non-conceptual joy. So it's not just emptiness, right? It's a joy. For example, like if you go to a cave, And it's just a cave, nothing to look at. But if the cave has many different decorations, all kind of interesting thing to look, then you'll be, wow, this is actually very nice. So it's not just an empty cave, it's not just an emptiness, but also you can experience. You can experience the wisdom, but you cannot label it. Oh, that's the joy, non-attached joy, non-conceptual joy is called jhana yishi. Then it's called Vajra. Vajra means indestructible, which means that even though we feel like very defeated by emotions and thoughts, we feel like there's not much hope. But in reality, your nature of mind and your jhana or wisdom is indestructible. Nothing happened. Sometimes I say when you meditate, everything is happening, but nothing happening. Everything is happening because all these thoughts like rustling around, passing through, but at the same time, nothing really happening in its nature. So indestructible. And soba emma ko home means that's the nature of it. So another word, everything is emptiness and indestructible by. When we talk about indestructible, does it mean that there's a concrete feeling or there's something like a material that indestructible? But that nature beyond conception cannot be distracted by emotions. So from that emptiness, it's nothingness, then it says, out of emptiness arises the uncontrived mind, your essence of mind, and manifesting as the resound sound of home. So you will hear the sound of home from the emptiness and pervading all space. And from this appears a Vajra protection circle with its fence and tent, vast and blazing. It's a cycle of protection, and in around outside of this is basically a little bit connected with the Tara's mandala. So outside of the palace, when you visualize yourself as Tara, but also you visualize the cycle of protection outside. In its middle of from Dam comes a boundless place of water, moon, crystal. So that is the pure land of Tara. So her palace is made from that of water moon. It's a special glass, precious glass, but it's transparent, but it's not like concrete or something. It's transparent. And then you visualize in the center it says, appears the letter POM, white POM, and which becomes fully blossomed with lotus on its stem. And above it from the letter R, and appears a clear and flawless full moon disk. And upon it, my mind, so yourself visualize as Tara, in the form of white thumb. That's the thumb syllable, seed syllable mantra of white Tara, and transforms into a white upala flower, and marked by another white thumb, and it radiates lights, making offerings to the noble ones, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and benefiting beings. Then also we radiate light to all sentient beings, remove their suffering. The light returns and dissolve into thumb and flower, transform into myself, immediately transform into ourselves as noble Tara. So this is where you sometimes like how I'm an ordinary individual, but how can I transform myself into white Tara, inherently we are all in deity or pure perception because we possess these three kayas as I mentioned earlier. And so immediately you visualize yourself white Tara, whose her body is white like a watermelon crystal and radiates 5 colored lights. She is beautiful, charming, and attractive with full breasts, and she smiles in great peace. She has 3 eyes in her face, and well as eyes in the palm of her hands, and the sole of her feet, making 7 eyes of wisdom altogether. Her right hand is in the mudra of spring generosity. The thumb and ring finger of her left hand hold at her heart. The stem of a white upala flower, its 100 petals unfolding by her ear. Her crown and earrings, her short, medium, and long necklace, her armbands, bangles, ankles, and her belt trimmed. How do you say? Trimmed with small bells. So in other words, she has the 5 silk ornaments and 8 ornaments. All of these have its symbolic meaning behind, and I will go through that later. Fashioned. Okay, fashioned. Many jewels, mostly snow white pearls. She is adorned with abundant celestial flowers and wears an upper garment of heavenly white silk and a lower one of rainbow hued silk. Never saw this word. Hued? Hued. Yeah. Her curly hair is bound in the back, and her legs rest in Vajra posture. A full moon is her backdrop. So now this is a visualization of yourself as a white Tara. And so now why we visualize all of those? Because it's not Tibetan tradition that, oh, maybe they make decisions. I think if you visualize this, people may like it, Not like that. So it has its own wisdom meaning behind each of these visualizations. And what time is it? I want to make sure I'm not good beyond 11:30 finish. Oh, really? 11:42? How that happened? Unbelievable. I better stop, I think that's a good place to stop because I thought time passed like that. Those of you doing daily practice, if you haven't done, the morning is gone. Now I'm relentless with people. Oh, you should do this. It's so sneaky, sliding the words here or there, pushing. All right, I say, I guess we do dedication now, and we go tomorrow about the others. Do you have dedication? Oh, okay. Let's dedicate the merit of this morning session for the benefit of all sentient beings, especially may all of us have long life, good health in order to practice genuine Dhamma, and may we able to do our daily practice just like we never miss meals. And with joyful, delightful practice, and also may be able to achieve white Tara attainment to through practice of Vajra, and let's dedicate for all sentient beings, especially long life for all the great masters. O sonam de tamje zeba nye tone nye ba dana bonje jega na je bala truba ye seba solen drowa nyo dora shu. Thank you. Oh, how do you?